Tied with Memphis in the 4th spot. Rutgers is guaranteed the 7th position at 5 and 11. Thanks for joining us once again with former Providence head coach Tim Wells, Jason Benetti along with you. When Shabazz Napier was a freshman, he played about 20 minutes a game. He won a national title as Kemba Walker's understudy. Now he leads a team that's hot at the right time.
Well, Shabazz Napier has a lot of Kemba Walker in him, and clearly he's matured as a basketball player, and that's why UConn is where they are today. He's a complete player, a leader, a captain. He's made his teammates better by trusting him, and Kevin Ali has done wonders with this young man, and he's done wonders for himself as well, made himself an NBA prospect.
For Rutgers to counter in the one-on-one, it's going to go down low.
Well, Kadeem Jack is a much improved post player for Eddie Jordan. He gets better from week to week. He's worked hard in the weight room, but he's also understanding of where he can have his major productivity on the floor, and that's in the paint, playing more at the 5 spot as of late. A dominant post player, a shot blocker, a physical presence, lately getting to the free throw line. And what has UConn done in the last 10 games? Oh, they've just been attacking people with their defense. On the perimeter, they've got the shot blocker in the middle, and Brima, who's understanding how to play without fouling, but also team defense at a premium. They play small, they play big, they mix and match their lineups. UConn, a tough out on the defensive end.
For Rutgers, starting lineup, Eddie Jordan, 5 and 11, 11 and 18 overall. Miles Max, the leading scorer, about 15 a game. Kadeem Jack right behind, 14 and a half per. As for Connecticut, 23 up, 6 down. 4 seniors and the junior DeAndre Daniels. Chroma in his first and only season, the transfer from George Washington. Senior night from Gamble Pavilion, where UConn has won 155 of the 180 games here played all time. Daniels and Jack the tip, and it goes back to give 5 for Connecticut. They'll turn to Chroma to run the point early on.
Mixing up his lineup, giving his seniors that opportunity to start on senior night with Olander and Gaffey in the lineup.
You saw Rutgers had some difficulty in this series, but did win a game 2 years ago against UConn. Earlier meeting this year, went to the Huskies by 11 in a sellout at the rack. Napier's first miss, and here comes Miles Mack for the Scarlet Knights. We're off a 1-point win comeback fashion on Saturday against USF.
Confidence builder after blowing the lead, 15 points at UCF. It looked like they were dead in the water, but showed a lot of character down the stretch with Kadeem Jack with the game winner at the horn.
Those type of games, don't think Eddie Jordan's going to retire down in Florida. 15-point comebacks all over the board. Tough move for Jack. Judge the follow. He had it challenged. And a foul going the other way.
That's been the MO of Wally Judge. He's unable to finish, and then the careless foul.
Foul on Judge. Eddie Jordan, the former Rutgers Scarlet Knight himself. Kevin Ollie, same deal, a UConn player, 91 to 95. 20-win seasons each of the last 2. Tyler Olander going to work on Judge, and he lifted out. J.J. Moore, the Pitt transfer, who had a huge game a couple of weeks ago against Houston, has gone quiet since then, other than a 20-point affair on Saturday. Judge wasn't ready for the pass, and UConn's got the turnover.
It was a poor pass, though. It's hard to catch those balls on the move when they're down at your knees.
Gaffey, the pull-up, and he lifts the lid on the scoring on senior night.
Rutgers a little stuck in the mud right now. Just no resistance on the defensive end, and offensively moving slow, not cutting, and poor passes.
Rutgers just 1-9 on the road this year. 10 of the 11 wins at home. Strong attempt by Judge. Got caught in between 2 defenders.
Nowhere to go, though. He drove into the middle. He has to pass that ball.
And off goes Napier.
Rutgers is going to be in deep trouble if they don't come back and play a little tighter defense, especially on the perimeter. Gaffey wide open, and then Napier like he's in his backyard.
Just
about everywhere is his backyard where he shoots on the floor. 28 points in the first meeting against Rutgers.
They go underneath the screen. No one's hands up, and Miles Mack playing against like he thought he was guarding somebody who's never made a shot instead of one of the best guards in America.
About 18 points a game for Napier. Was right on that against Cincinnati over the weekend. 18-51 for Connecticut to Napier. A lot of traffic right now for Rutgers offensively. Maybe some better spacing.
They need more energy. They need more movement. Their timing looks a little off, and their shot selection has been terrible.
Broma got the block, and on the reload, the shot goes down for Miles Mack.
This is where you have to really look and evaluate if Rutgers is serious about coming in tonight and competing. If they're in a stance, if they're communicating, if they're guarding. So far, no.
Daniels, an open look, and he's got his first two.
I mean, Rutgers is just flat-footed, standing straight up, looking like they just want to play on the offensive end, not understanding that Connecticut has a ton of weapons.
A couple weeks ago, in a game against Memphis, Eddie Jordan didn't substitute in the final 10.5 minutes of that game because he wanted better attitude from some of his guys. Might be rearing its head again. Judge had it stripped. Broma down the lane.
This isn't even Connecticut's A lineup. Ryan Boatwright did not start tonight because it's senior.
Out of bounds going to Connecticut. So you got Boatwright coming off the bench, and there's 12.5 points a game.
And you also have Brima as a real good inside player and emerging big man. But you talk about the defense of Connecticut has really been swarming. On Saturday against Cincinnati, it was high level.
Turned the Bearcats over 20 times in that game. Broma all alone.
Eddie Jordan sees what we see. He's got to be just disgusted with the effort right now from Rutgers defensively. There's none.
Just the 19th three of the year for Lasan Broma. Not typically a high-volume shooter.
You see everyone's hands down. No one in any sort of stance. Everybody straight up. No resistance at all. Going underneath the screen. No one steps up. No communication. And lights out. This will be a fun night for Connecticut. As an offensive player, this is like a dream come true. You guys back off shooters and don't put a hand in their face.
Especially with the way Boatwright and Napier play together, typically fairly loose in the backcourt.
Very surprising, though, that Rutgers would come in this way and start the game like this on a high-energy night. Packed house, coming off a nice comeback win. A confidence builder, so to speak. But so far, Rutgers looks very lethargic, and that's being nice.
As they were closing out shoot-around this morning, Eddie Jordan said to his team, this is a huge opportunity if we play well. He knows that there's a chance here. They hung with Connecticut last month, an 11-point loss at home. J.J. Moore too strong on the three, and an offensive rebound for Judge. The freshman junior E2, an energy guy at 6'7". Jack is fouled going up. He'll head to the free throw line. UConn early on, couple of triples from the seniors and a 7-point lead in Stores. Senior night in Stores. It started with Tor Watts, a senior from Brooklyn, who doesn't get a whole lot of playing time for Connecticut. Then Lasan Broma, who's been so key over from George Washington, a Maryland native. Broma about 7 points a game. Tyler Olander, who was a starter on the national title team a couple of years ago and has become a reserve this season. Niels Gafai, the sharpshooter, about 50% from three-point range. Already seen him make a jumper tonight. And then the guy of the hour, Shabazz Napier, who, as you heard Kevin Ollie say just before we hit the air, he leads the team in 17 categories. He does absolutely everything for UConn.
Well, the thing he does first and foremost is makes his teammates better. And Shabazz Napier 2 years ago did not trust his teammates a year and a half ago. Did not trust his teammates in the first 6 weeks of last season when they struggled to win non-conference games against teams in the 200s and 300s in the BPI. And when you look at Shabazz Napier's development, it's more character-wise than basketball-wise, and trusting his teammates and becoming a leader, and that's a credit to him and the staff.
It's tough to do sometimes when you're the leading scorer, isn't it?
Well, and also just you're built a certain way, and you've always played a certain way, and then you come in and you play with players that are at such a playing with players that you're at a higher level. And when a lot of his contemporaries left the program after Jim Calhoun retired, and then they went on probation, but he stuck with it, and give him all the credit in the world. Him and Niels Gaffey and Olander could have bailed as well, but they hung in here, and Kevin Ollie really needed them last year to carry this program through the year and now into this year where they're going to be back in the NCAAs.
They didn't have the carrot of going to the tournament. This was a 7-man senior class that's turned into just a couple remaining. Napier the find this time, and Daniels too strong. Jack backing in on Daniels. Tough fadeaway.
That's a good move. Power step into the middle, and Connecticut's got to be aware of that because this is the new and improved Kadeem Jack. They've got to give a little support down low because he's looking to score at the rim.
He had the game winner against USF on Saturday, coming from the other side of the lane to beat Stan Heath's team, and a moving screen against Daniels, his second personal.
This is Jack at his best recently in the last 10 games, just getting to the free throw line, getting to the rim, that higher percentage shot, and the power and confidence with that power step to the middle.
You mentioned it before the game. You feel like he's gotten better month to month this season.
Well, he was real thin when he got to Rutgers. He had to sit out, and then he got in the weight room, but his improvement has just been the last 10 games, 15, 7, 50% from the floor, 7 free throws per game. That's a huge difference because before he was just kind of a stand-up, face-up jump shooter, and now he's becoming a power player in the lane.
Miles Mack creating his own shot. He has 5.
It was a very good and impressive timeout by Eddie Jordan. He read his team the riot act. Now they got a little bit more of their eye on the ball.
A Thursday night showcase presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups on ESPNU features an exciting triple header at 7 first. It's Penn State and Northwestern. Then at 9 in the Big West, Hawaii squares off against UCSB. And then at 11, USC and Washington State. All 3 games also live on Watch ESPN. Those are 2 of the top 4 teams in the Big West, leading to the Big West tournament in Anaheim coming up next week. Conference tournament time is upon us. You excited, Tim Weld?
Not yet. I'm ready for tonight. I'm ready for this game. I don't want to look ahead. You can't look ahead.
You always have a coach in you.
Well, you know, that's the problem with some of these teams is you see some teams slump late in the season that you say, how can that happen? Sometimes teams take their eye off the ball. They start thinking about not only their conference tournament, but mostly the NCAA tournament. When the brackets come out, we're a 4 seed or a 5 seed. Well, we've got games to be played, and we've got to keep getting better. So there, how's that for Coach Street?
Yeah, right on target. Rutgers can take its first lead with a 3.
I'll tell you, one guy who's not impressed with his team is Kevin Ollie. Every day, go to shoot around, he is the same in November as he is in March. I mean, he just really drives these guys and keeps them focused and intense.
Foul on Kenton Facey, the freshman who's seen his playing time increase recently. You almost get the feeling that Kevin Ollie could get out there and still play. I mean, he said before the game it's his senior night too, and he's got that type of energy.
No question about that. He's sliding on the sidelines. He's still got the 30-inch waist. He is an impressive coach.
J.J. Moore has the lead for Rutgers.
Now Rutgers is taking, Connecticut is taking a little bit of a step back defensively, lost a little bit of their sizzle. Not getting out on Moore. A nice step back, a nice pin down screen. Connecticut not fighting through.
Ryan Boatwright in, didn't start. Napier did, and he's got another, his second 3.
J.J. Moore's got to get up on him, just like Connecticut's got to get up on J.J. Moore. Coming off those screens, those quick three-point shooters don't need much time.
Napier 6 of the 13 for UConn. Breaks an 8-0 run for Rutgers. Jack going strong to the rack.
On Rutgers, I run everything through that man. He is showing he can deliver and playing with confidence.
10 straight games in double figures for the junior from Rice High School.
Rutgers a little bit more pop in their step right now.
Giffey, open look. Rare miss for him in that spot. Out of bounds, and it's staying with Rutgers. Coming up, we'll hear about who Tim thinks will win the postseason awards in the American. Feel free to criticize. We'll be back. Wednesday night hoops on ESPNU. Rutgers and Connecticut tied at the 11:39 mark in the first half. A couple of weeks ago, we asked Tim Welsh who his American Player of the Year was going to be. You were non-committal, but you've decided on your postseason awards.
You've got to play the season out. There's no question about it, and we haven't played it all the way out yet. But I figured this is our last game on a Wednesday night. Let's get to it. It's that fun time of the year. Who's the Player of the Year? Well, no league has 3 better guards than the American Conference in Shabazz Napier, Russ Smith, and Sean Kilpatrick. So it's a 3-man race. I'll go for, is he Republican, Democrat, or Independent? Doesn't matter. He gets all the votes from this guy because he's a complete player. And how about this guy? Where's he been? He's back on the sidelines. I think he knows how to win. Far ahead of schedule. Larry Brown, the Coach of the Year, and then the Rookie of the Year. Not a lot of dominant rookies, but let's go for defense because Amita Bryma knowing how to play on the defensive end and becoming a difference maker defensively in the American Conference League games for Connecticut, along with Austin Nichols, Chris Perry, Troy Capane. Good group of freshmen in this conference. But there's our all-conference team. First 3 guys, that's no-brainer. You can close your eyes and pick them, and then it becomes a little tougher. Nick Moore has to have a nod at SMU, just a great quarterback. And Tayshaun Thomas, an unknown player down in Houston, but people know him when you have to guard him. A real complete player, an unselfish big man for the Cougars.
You and I were traveling on New Year's Eve. We got off the plane and looked at the scoreboard and what UConn and Houston did, and Houston just blew the doors off Connecticut on New Year's Eve in that conference opener. We thought, boy, that Cougars team could be very tough.
They found their way into the 6th spot, and it's going to be huge for them coming tournament time down in Memphis. They get by the first day.
Rutgers open 1 for 9. Perfect since then. There's a turnover for Facey and UConn. Terrence Samuel, the freshman, the kick out, Giffey. 50% three-point shooter has barely missed a couple of open looks.
Terrence Samuel gave Denali some real good minutes against Cincinnati on Saturday as a defensive stopper.
Catch and shoot for Moore, no good. Boatwright so good at finding space. Back and forth they go, 1 and done each way.
He's struggling though, 32%, 18 for 56 in his last 5 games. Just not playing with a good rhythm, but shot selection's been pretty solid.
Foul called on Facey, that's his second. So both Facey and Daniels at 6'9" each have 2 fouls for Connecticut.
And I give Kevin Ollie a lot of credit going late in the season to guys like Facey and developing Terrence Samuel and giving them some confidence playing in these games and going with a little bit more of a defensive mindset here in the last 10 games. Sometimes playing small, and then you got the big guy in the middle. They can extend and pressure on the perimeter a little bit more because they trust Bryma to protect the rim.
They held Cincinnati to 27% shooting on Saturday here. Jerome Seegears got a look, and here comes UConn. Giffey passed up the 3. That's a shot maybe he normally takes if he didn't miss the first couple.
You know, also though, Rutgers is doing a better job of attacking on the closeouts, communicating from the weak side, getting over screens at the top first 5 minutes, they just came out of the gate. I don't know if they were a little shell-shocked the first time they played in this building. I'm not sure, but they're playing a lot more energy now, and I give Eddie Jordan a lot of credit. He called the timeout, but he's also shifted his lineups to put more of a defensive team in the game.
It's one of those rare circumstances where the team has played in this building previously. Maybe one of the players, and Eddie Jordan, the coach, has never been here. Malik Kone off the mark on the jumper.
He's not a good shooter. He's in there for his defense and his toughness, but it makes some things happen.
Vote right to Brima, who will go to the free throw line.
Important piece of that play right now, right on that last possession, was first and foremost the identity and recognition of Boatwright at the double team at the top, but also Brima's ability to slide into that open slot behind the defense and catch it and keep it high and bring it to the rim for the foul.
Seven-footer, 217 pounds, his list price. You feel like he could really fill out and be one of those big stoppers like UConn has had historically, like maybe an Okafor.
There's no question about it. And early in the season, he was coming off the bench. They were trying to just kind of ease him into the position, but he is a difference maker defensively. Still occasionally will commit that careless foul, but doing a better job of recognizing where to slide off the ball.
Greg Brown, the junior, working against Napier. Seagears against Boatwright. Kerwin Okoro, the sophomore, for two.
Solid move by Okoro. Just kind of bullied his way down on the baseline, created a little space off Gafai, who was an excellent defender, giving up some length, but knocked it down.
Brima wanted to give it up quickly. Back to Chroma. Napier, tough catch. Who cares?
That's where Okoro gave too much help on the perimeter and then just kind of hesitated on the catch by Napier. He's got to make him put that ball on the floor and then get help from his teammates, not back up on the three-pointer.
Napier double figures, 19 of his last 20, 30-plus minutes in those games, and a moving screen against Brown, his first foul. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney features an ACC showdown. Marcus Page and 14 North Carolina take on Jabari Parker, number 4 Duke. Journey to the Tourney Saturday at 9 on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN. 12 in a row for Roy Williams and UNC. Had that loss to Belmont earlier in the year. People wondered what are they going to end up with, but great coaches in that one. And here's a great one taking in the festivities tonight.
Jimmy still looks like he could roam the sidelines and win about 25 a year.
Won the national title with this team as Napier's freshman season went along, and again they just turned it up that year. Kemba Walker basically took over the NCAA tournament.
That was an amazing run, and nice backcourt mate with him, another NBA player, Jeremy Lamb.
Napier has more than half the points for Connecticut. 28 in the first meeting. Okoro right with Gafai. Another one for Napier. This one misses.
Well, that was good defense though by Malik Kone. He stayed with him. He didn't back up on the pull out and contested well.
Offensive foul against Jack. His second personal. Could be trouble for Rutgers. Hanging tough though with UConn. Looking to pick up its 24th win of the year. We talked before about about the unbeatens on the men's side. Wichita State remaining, but on the women's side of things, what's new? Gino Auriemma has UConn still unbeaten, and Notre Dame and Muffet McGraw, they're out of the same league now. UConn in the American, Notre Dame to the ACC. Both teams still unblemished so far this season as they head toward their conference tournaments. And Gino's women's team 31-0 this year, the 7th undefeated regular season in UConn history. How about this? 30-plus wins. You see Stephanie Dolson and Brianna Stewart, the whole bunch. 30-plus wins, 19 of the last 21 years. That's a dynasty.
Well, it will be an unbelievable final if we can get to Notre Dame in Connecticut. But I like what Gino said after they went over Louisville. We're going to sit back and just enjoy this for a day or two and just kind of cherish the moment. People almost expect it, but I don't care what level or how many great players you have, it is not easy. So congratulations to both UConn and the Irish.
Brianna Stewart, just a sophomore, the preseason American Conference Player of the Year, the pride of Cicero North Syracuse High School. Philip Nolan, the sophomore, off the spin. A little too much. Significant minutes for Kerwin Okoro, deep off Eddie Jordan's bench.
And he said it earlier, he's going to play the guys who are playing well that night and playing not only the system offensively, but gritty, tough defense. More of a defensive group here.
Another moving screen, this one against Judge, and his second personal. He's running out of bigs fast. Judge and Jack each have 2.
That's nothing new to Wally Judge. He's fouled out of 10 games this year, so he has to have a better understanding as a senior of how to stay in the basketball game. He's stay in right now because of the foul trouble with Jack.
Napier, the drop-off. Giffey, 6-3.
And having the presence of mind and understanding where your teammates are, and that's what special players do. And Shabazz Napier would not have made that pass a year and a half ago. He would have forced a shot in the lane. Now he trusts his teammates.
It's a little look over the shoulder to catch Giffey out of the peripheral vision. Double team from Giffey on Judge. Okoro off the bank for 3.
Really good defense by Connecticut. They dug the ball out of Judge's mitts, but got beat on the other end. And Okoro kind of went into a home run trot after his 3 and didn't close out tight.
Well, he only has 20 points all year, but Napier is not the guy you want to leave. He has 4 threes.
There's a difference between Okoro guarding Napier and Kone. Okoro just gives up too much space.
Bullet from Seegears to Judge.
Devin Ollie's not happy with his defense right now. They're just laying back and trying to outscore Rutgers. They've had so much success on the offensive end that their defense has been a little bit lacking in its own way.
Omar Calhoun is in, a sophomore from Brooklyn. Step back for Calhoun, left it short. Judge, the strong rebound.
All the Judge can do, just a physical presence on defense. That's where he needs to make his money.
Out of bounds, staying with Rutgers. Connecticut 6 of 11 from 3.
You cannot back up on Shabazz Napier, and then when he drives into the gaps, you have to understand on ball side, they've got a lot of capable three-point shooters. And here again, Napier just sizes up Okoro, and he backs up instead of closing out.
What's the best way to guard Shabazz Napier?
With 2 players. Absolutely. You've got to give a lot of help. You've got to get up tight on him, make him put it on the floor, and then when he does, try to give some support from the backside.
Amita Brima meets Craig Brown.
Going back to your original question, the tough thing about guarding him with 2 players is that he's so unselfish now. And this guy right now, Brima, we talked about his ability to understand when to go, when to slow, and play without fouling. And that's a huge difference maker moving forward for Connecticut.
Got another one. 4 to shoot. Seegears doesn't know it. Shot clock violation.
Oh, the big fella. plays with a smile, an infectious temperament, and the ability to get big at the rim for the Huskies.
#1 in Division I in terms of shots that come at him. He's almost like a defensive back in football. You just don't want to throw at him. Giffey set his feet.
Connecticut is playing small ball right now. They don't have anyone to throw the ball to on the box. Breima's not really an offensive target, and Rutgers needs to extend because Connecticut wants to play at the line, and Rutgers not running them off the line.
UConn, the top three-point shooting team in the American. Freshman Samuel in a hurry. Got to.
Well, Connecticut wants to play small ball. They don't have really a four-man out there on the floor. They space the court. Niels Giffey is their four-man, and he'll step out to the three-point line. That's what he wants to do. That's why you have to extend. And this is what Terrence Samuel does. This is the ultimate coast-to-coast. The young fella learned this in the playgrounds of Brooklyn. If you don't stop me, I'm going all the way to the rack with authority.
Averaging 2 points a game for Samuel. That's his 15th field goal of his freshman season. And UConn using the three ball. 3 of the top 6 reside here in Stores.
Well, there's a lot of amazement sitting in this chair right here that Terrence Samuel is giving Connecticut quality minutes at this point in the season. If you asked anyone 2 months ago, you'd say, well, he's a nice, fine prospect who's going to have to sit and wait. But he's worked hard on his game and give the coaches credit for the player development and Kevin Ollie the trust to put him in the game. And he was huge in the game Saturday against Cincinnati. 16 real good minutes defensively, and you can see tonight offensive as well.
Mack called for the foul on Chroma, who had a free run to the rim. UConn by 7. Coming back, we'll hear what you've got at halftime from the studio.
And Ish Shroff in the studio coming up at halftime. SMU right now giving Louisville the business in Big D. Dino will tell you if he agrees with Tim's pick for AAC Player of the Year. And we all know about Duke, Carolina on Saturday. Right now, Duke with its hands full against Wake Forest, Dino's old team.
Boy, road games in conference play, no matter who you're playing or where you're playing, are tough. SMU, though, 15-0 at Moody Coliseum this year, trying to get to 16-0. And I don't know if anybody's tougher to play at home in this league.
And how about they didn't even play a home game in that building until the first of the year. And just an amazing turnaround. Larry Brunn talking to him at Media Day way back in October, just saying, well, we're going to be a little bit better. Not alone, a little bit better. They're going to be very good and tough out in the tournament because of their defense.
Larry Brown came to the defense of college basketball today, saying that Mark Cuban and his comments about the D-League were not necessarily on target. But Larry Brown just loving his time at SMU, now building a strong program in the American. Off the spin, Greg Lewis has his first bucket.
That's very good offensive execution by Rutgers coming out of the timeout. They spaced the floor. They had 4 around 1, and Lewis posted up right dead middle in the lane.
Breima. He traveled. 6 turnover for the Huskies. SMU number 18 in the poll. Houston guaranteed that 6th position, and 5 teams in the AP top 25, the most of any league. This top 5 is one of the strongest top portions of a league in the country.
You know, it's funny, they don't get probably the recognition that they deserve because the bottom has kind of pulled them down as far as the BPI goes. But all of these teams, teams are built to last in the NCAA tournament because they're all very solid defensively.
Miles Mack off the curl. He has 8.
Rutgers has got back in this game with their tight defense on the ball. They're communicating better. They're rotating much better, and their activity on the perimeter has been solid.
Team that normally gives up 76 points a game, 7th in the American, holding UConn to 27. Give 5, open look.
And that's a major mistake by Malik Kone on the drive on ball side by Boatwright. He just ran at Boatwright and left Giffey wide open. He's got to stay home. The help's got to come from the inside.
Moore has the response. J.J. Moore, the Pitt transfer, has 6.
Facial for Moore, right back at Giffey.
Boatwright over Mack, and he got the roll.
Been the problem for Rutgers all season long. Mack and Seegears at times don't play that tight defense on the basketball like good guards should.
Mack in the corner for 3. We've heard a lot about the guard play in the American, and we're seeing it full board tonight.
Well, Connecticut making mistakes as well defensively on the perimeter. You have to stay home on J.J. Moore and Miles Mack. Make the other Rutgers players beat you on the inside. They're not as skilled when you look at Lewis and Kone. Make them make plays.
Napier stripped, and Seegears called for the foul. Now, he's not the guy you want to send to the free throw line. Napier, second best in the American, 89%.
Well, that's picking your poison with Napier. Clearly, that's better than laying off and giving him open, free look three-pointers from the perimeter. You've got to put pressure on him, but you've got to give the help a little bit quicker.
Such a great job of getting to the line. 177 free throw attempts this year coming in.
Well, he's fearless. You know that. He's got great body control. He's always has his head up. He changes direction well, and look at his rebounding numbers as well as his free throw attempts. You know he's a hard-nosed player.
Give and go. Mack missed it. Well, Shabazz Napier said he was the class clown at Charlestown High School. He's grown up big time, and on senior night, he has 14 at halftime. More than halfway to his output in the first meeting against Rutgers. 34-31 at the break. Now we head to the studio for the Sports Center U halftime report. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. We welcome you back to Wednesday Night Hoops from Storrs, Connecticut. Tim Wells, Jason Benetti along with you. 34-31 UConn, thanks to Shabazz Napier.
Shabazz Napier, as always, has taken over the game, but Rutgers has hung in the game with three-point shooting. They were a little off defensively to start, but then they got a little mojo on defense, and their offense got clicking. They need to get tighter on the perimeter as well, though, because UConn 8 for 14 from the three-point stripe. That's the way they play. They're going to play fast and furious on offense, try to get transition baskets. If not, they're going to space the floor. And Rutgers, in their own right, has done a nice job mixing and matching, even with Kadeem Jack on the bench with some foul issues.
Wally Judge, 2 fouls as well. Mack with 11. Giffey missed his first 2 threes, ended up with 11. But Rutgers within 3 on senior night, looking for its first win in Storrs since the 70s. Mack down low to Judge.
Terrific offensive execution, and Kevin Holly doesn't waste any time to be upset with his team.
19 seconds into the half, Kevin Ollie uses a timeout. Kevin Ollie used a timeout 19 seconds into the second half, and here's why.
Well, he's annoyed because at halftime he spent the whole half, explaining you've got to help and show quickly on the ball screen. Here, Rutgers does a nice job changing sides of the floor in their Princeton-type offense. And here on the ball screen and on the roll to the rack, DeAndre Daniels doesn't show and help. But this is very difficult to defend. You've got to be quick on the ball and then recover because of the fact they've got a lot of movement away from the basketball. That's why that offense is, when it's in rhythm and in sync, is so hard to defend, because you got a lot of moving pieces on both sides of the ball, and you open up the middle of the floor and it becomes a 2-on-2 game.
The Rutgers team 5th best in the American in scoring. Offense has not been much of an issue for Rutgers this year. Napier to Chroma. Daniels the offensive rebound. He was quiet in the first half with foul trouble.
DeAndre Daniels has been quiet as of late. His minutes have gone down because his productivity, not only on offense but on defense, has been lacking for Kevin Ollie.
J.J. Moore, long deuce. His first 2 attempts of the game. He has 8.
Good ball movement by Rutgers again, and J.J. Moore creating space against the premier defender UConn has, Hassan Chroma. Good move.
Moore came in to score for his last 22 from 3. He's got a couple today. Napier has 5 threes.
That's where Rutgers falling asleep a little bit on that little pin down screen. They've got to chase Napier off the 3-point line and give some help off the bounce.
Kick ball out of bounds, staying with Rutgers.
Napier's so good on the quick little pin down screen, and just kind of a rush screen, and Mack not aware that Napier's floating to the 3-point line.
Mack to Judge again. Similar play as we saw about a minute and a half ago.
Well, Rutgers has very good movement now, not only with the basketball but without, and they're getting UConn turned around and spinning around. Daniels and Breimer are having difficulty with Jack and Judge in the middle with their cuts to the rim.
Foul down low. If it's on Jack, it's his 3rd, and it is. He put 2 hands on there downstairs.
Here, Wally Judge does a nice job as he comes, fakes baseline. He reads the defense. He saw Daniels coming from the weak side. He went back to the middle. But again, that was a big foul on Kadeem Jack. Just kind of a careless foul off the ball. Not sure there was anything there.
E2 couldn't grab the rebound. Junior E2, the freshman from the Congo, who's made 18 straight starts, and his minutes have gone up. He's played well, been a big energy guy for Eddie Jordan, but that time he just couldn't corral it. And there, a breakdown for Giffey.
It's good hard cutting off that top screen for Giffey. Connecticut took advantage of Rutgers turning their head.
Jack on Olander. Wanted to give that up the whole way. And a foul called on Daniels, who got into E2. 3rd foul against Daniels on a late whistle.
Well, this is inbound execution at its best, and this is why Kevin Ollie just grinds his team in the shoot-arounds here. Just that little read, that cut, and that misdirection to the rim. Niels Giffey reading the defense, and then on the offensive end for Rutgers, Junior E2 gets called rising up for the jumper, and he's not a 3-point shooter at all. Only 28%, but Daniels a little too much force on the closeout.
Rutgers shot just 2 free throws all first half. Those were for Jack. Too much brute strength that time for E2. He's 1 for 2 on this trip. Two for 3 for junior E2, who played AAU ball with Eddie Jordan for the DC Assault back when he was in high school at Bishop O'Connell. Daniels with 3 fouls. Hooks around E2.
You knew what DeAndre Daniels was going to do. He just took 3 bounces into the lane, and that little spin back to the baseline. Rutgers has to get more support because he's not a good passer. He's looking to score.
Do you think they've got to have his offense up if they're going to make a run in the NCAA tournament?
Overall productivity, it's not just offense. Sometimes he takes possessions off defensively. They've got to have him be more of a complete player where he's just not floating to the three-point line. I like him down on that baseline. He's got a lot of good moves, and some nights, though, he doesn't defend or play tough on the glass.
His three-point shooting was tremendous to start the year. He's still the 4th best in the American, but 1 for his last 7. Napier with that head up. Great find to Chroma. J.J. Moore creates his own shot, and a wild look turns into an offensive rebound for Kone.
Rutgers needs to settle down on offense. They've done a nice job of hanging in this game by being disciplined on the offensive end of the floor. Last 2 shots have not been good.
Judge looks off Moore. Out of the double team. Nice find to E2.
Wally Judge looked like he was in no man's land. 17 assists, 49 turnovers on the year, but that time he looked like he knew what he was doing. Backed up, and UConn did not rotate to the middle.
Some easy buckets here in the second half for Rutgers. Napier's got another, his 6th.
Rutgers keeps getting caught on that little simple pin down screen. Miles Mack's turning his head, and he's not aware where Shabazz Napier is off the ball. He's got to stay attached.
Timeout, Eddie Jordan, and he is fired up.
Rutgers came in here tonight with a little chip on their shoulder after the first few minutes, and nice job right there by Wally Judge. After 7 dribbles and just finding an open man, maybe just a simple pin down screen, and Miles Mack, bad defenders somehow find screens, and Miles Mack has to get through that screen. He's got to stay attached to Shabazz Napier. He's just running into picks.
Conference tournament coming up in the American. The Ohio Valley Conference tournament is underway from Nashville. The championship 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Top 2 seeds, as you might expect, Belmont and Murray State, although they lost Ian Clark and Isaiah Kanan, and Tennessee Tech in the first round up big right now on SIU Edwardsville. Here's Belmont's resume. That win at Carolina still resonates. It's the 1 win against the RPI top 50. But Coach Bird's team has made some runs in the tournament. You always want to look out for them.
They're so good offensively. Got a lot of good three-point shooters. And Bird's got them ready. A little bit of a home court advantage. It's not on their home court. It's a little Nashville advantage for Belmont.
Foul called on the rebounding action. Kone was held. We'll come back. UConn leading by 5 on Shabazz Napier's senior night. (46-41) Connecticut over Rutgers. The freshman Amita Brima trying to get his troops ready to go. You see Olander, one of the seniors, at his senior night here in Stores. And this is a UConn team that, as we head to the NCAA tournament, they're going to need all hands on deck. Maybe a freshman like Brima, and Olander, who was a starter on the championship team a couple of years ago, and Niels Kifai with a 3-point shooting. They've got a lot of options here.
They are, but Kevin Ali's trying to get blood out of a stone tonight a little bit. It looks like Connecticut's doesn't have the energy. The team that, after the huge win on Saturday, they got to go to Louisville on the weekend. You know these youngsters are that. They're youngsters, so they're thinking about the Louisville game a little bit. They're in a struggle because Rutgers came to play.
UConn's been buoyed by 10 3-point field goals. Rutgers 6 out of 12 from 3-point range. Not a whole lot inside both ways. Miles Mack is the high man for Rutgers with 11. He's got Boatwright defensively. J.J. Moore, long triple. And Olander the save. A couple of ill-advised shots for Moore. Olander squared up for 2. Just his 8th point the last 9 games.
Sorry, Jason. I think this is where Eddie Jordan can put Kadeem Jack back in the game. You match him up against a DeAndre Daniels, who's not a guy who gets to the free throw line, or even put him on a Tyler Olander, and he should be able to stay in the game without getting his 4th foul, because they really miss his offense.
Mack off the Judge, screen for 3.
Then you have a guy like Miles Mack. He can keep you in the game or out of the game. Right now, he's got to defend a little better on this end.
J.J. Moore's drawn the assignment on Napier, who gave it up to Goodbye.
Well, that's where Connecticut is at its best. They space the court and use the corners, and they drive into the gaps. They feel the defense converging on the ball, and they kick to the three-point shooters.
16 for Niels Goodbye, doubling his average. A long jumper for Judge.
Well, Judge, just a 49% free throw shooter, looked pretty smooth on that J. And Rutgers feeling good on the offensive end. They just need to tighten up down here, protect the three-point line.
Well, Judge 7th best in the American in field goal percentage, but that's not the type of shot that's gotten him there. It's been his work around the rim.
Well, he's been very solid, though, tonight. Stayed out of foul trouble, been physical at the rim.
Boatwright launched himself, and the tip in is good. Olander, more work.
A special senior night for T.O. coming in, starting the ball game. He stuck with UConn. They stuck with him through some issues. Playing very good tonight.
Kevin Ollie says he's going to be a great coach someday. Mack, the drop-off for the slam for Judge, who's owned the second half. Double screen for Napier.
Is there any doubt that he can put this team on his back? And tonight, he's feeling like his teammates need a little lift with his offense.
Moore draws the block against Goodbye. 3rd foul against Niels Goodbye.
This is why Rutgers, when they run their offense precisely, they're very difficult to defend, because they have the floor space and there's movement on the weak side. But then negotiating this double ball screen, Rutgers has had problems all night long getting over the top and forcing Napier off the line.
A lot of dribbling for Seagears. Daniels on Kone. Judge had it blocked right back to him and made a tough shot.
Judge feeling it tonight after the near turnover. A little fadeaway on the baseline.
And a moving screen will go the other way. Shabazz Napier, a career high 7 threes, but Rutgers hanging around with Wally Judge. Manish, thank you. That battle for the top of the ACC continues to rage on. Syracuse on hard times. Duke trying to stave off Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. The numbers you need to know about the American, you can call it a schism in this league. Top 5, bottom 5. The road wins by the bottom 5. Rutgers trying to get one here against one of the top 5 teams. And it plays out to maybe hurt the seeds of the top 5 a little bit, but it'll play out as a great tournament down in Memphis.
No question about it. Kevin Ollie, though, just concerned with the energy level on the defensive end of the floor with his ball club. Already giving up more points tonight than they did on Saturday in their win over Cincinnati.
51-45 victory over Cincinnati. And Jerome Seagears from Mack.
Sometimes as a coach, you think your team might have just packed it in, and maybe Rutgers could have or should have done it after their loss to UCF, but they showed a lot of character in their win over USF, and tonight they came to play and win.
Not a lot of defense here in the second half. The offenses are scorching. Judge got caught in between. Brown for the tie, left it short. Well, Judge has an itchy trigger finger tonight.
That wasn't a good shot by Brown either. They need to be more patient.
Roma, a wild look as well for Connecticut.
You see though when and if Eddie Jordan goes back to Kadeem Jack, especially with Wally Judge playing so well at that 5 spot, playing small around him.
3 fouls for Jack. 5 first half points, nothing in the second half. Mack couldn't tie it. Rebound for Brown. And Daniels the board.
Tough one for Rutgers. Brown throwing his body around. Needs to finish that without Brown.
Seegers the foul on Napier. And here's the American bracket if it ended today down at FedEx Forum. First round coming up a week from today. Rutgers would play Temple. Boy, that UConn Memphis game, they played 2 dandies this year. UConn with the sweep. That would be a fantastic 4-5 matchup in the quarter.
Everyone knows these games are played where? In Memphis. It's not like the old days playing in Madison Square Garden for Connecticut, where it's theoretically St. John's home court, but it was filled with UConn fans. And FedEx Forum there will be a lot of blue for Memphis next week.
It's a place UConn's already won this year against the Tigers. Seegers stuck to Napier, and a steal for Rutgers. Seegers into Samuel and missed it. Wanted the foul, didn't get the whistle.
Look for the foul instead of the make.
And the dunk try short for Daniels. The launch point, a little too far from the 10.
How many of errors at the rim? These players need to slow down at the rim and worry about making the finish. And here Daniels gets the nice delivery. Needs to jump stop or maybe the dish off. He had Nolan wide open. Look at Nolan's wide open. Get caught in the air. Just a simple shovel pass for the dunk.
Jack back in. Couldn't find his stroke.
When you sit for a long period of time, it's a bit more advisable to get back in the flow of the game instead of first time you touch it to jack up a shot.
9th UConn turnover, and Kevin Ollie in a very happy camper over there. UConn in that win over Cincinnati was +10 in turnover margin, 20-10. 9 of them already tonight.
Well, Rutgers doing a good job of spacing the floor and running their offense, but also Connecticut's letting them do what they want. They're not really forcing them into any spots that they're uncomfortable.
Five for Seegers to shoot. Can't get free. Into the post, Okoro, and that's where the lack of minutes for him. He doesn't really know what to do in that situation. Turned it over. Thursday night showcase presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups on ESPNU. It's an exciting triple header. Penn State Northwestern at 7. Then at 9, Hawaii squares off against UC Santa Barbara in the Big West. Then at 11, USC and Washington State. The Pac-12. All 3 games also live on Watch ESPN. Haven't heard from Napier in a while. He has 7 threes. And Daniels was fouled over on the edge.
Going back to that last possession on that shot clock violation, Rutgers did a good job. They were patient. They looked for their proper shot within their offense. But at the end of the clock, that's where Seegers, as a point guard, has to have clock management and awareness to try to get the ball up on the rim.
Open 3 for Omar Calhoun off the mark.
That's a quick shot right off the foul. Full shot clock. They need to exploit that defense.
A lot of traffic down there for Brown. Put it on the 10 and couldn't get the roll.
No chance. Off balance, shooting the ball from his hip.
Calhoun again. Boy, just a 25% three-point shooter. And a travel as there was a white jersey in front of Jack's passing path. So turnovers galore. Rutgers hanging around down 3 at Connecticut. Finish, thank you, 56-53, Connecticut over Rutgers. Kevin Ollie and Eddie Jordan going at it for the second time this year. And former NBA players in their own right, Kevin Ollie and Eddie Jordan. Coach Jordan played for Cleveland and New Jersey and the Lakers, Portland, and Kevin Ollie, the Oklahoma City Thunder most recently. Jerome Allen and Penn also at his alma mater. 7 coaches in NCAA D1 right now at their alma maters. Fred Hoiberg, Iowa State, the mayor, having a great season in Ames. And Eddie Jordan has actually faced a couple of them already. Rutgers played Florida A&M in the non-conference, and Lorenzo Romar out there in the Pac-12 as well. But it's extra special for a coach playing and coaching at his alma mater.
Well, it's interesting, though. He's a great general manager of Oklahoma City Thunder in attendance tonight. Sam Presti, and that was Kevin Ollie's last stop. And just a bit player there, but a guy that made a lasting impression. Sam Presti told me many times that we just loved Kevin Ollie. We didn't want to lose him. We wanted to offer him a job on our staff. And Kevin Durant said he was a game changer. He said his mindset, professionalism, every single day we watched, and it rubbed off on all of us. Russ Westbrook, James Harden, everybody. And that's why Kevin Ollie is who he is, because he's just a worker. Even in the NBA, they still talk about his presence and professionalism.
He gets a lot of credit for working with Durant when he was young, and talked to Kevin Ollie about it. He said, look, I went to Oklahoma City to play. I wanted to play, but it just turned out, as you see Sam Presti, the general manager of the Thunder, he became a mentor type, Ollie did, but he wanted to get on the court.
Well, Sam offered him a job on the staff and in the organization, but he wanted to come back and come to Stores and be with Jim Calhoun and be a college coach. And he paid his dues and worked under Jim. And I'll tell you what, Connecticut's prayers were answered when you have to fill the shoes of Jim Calhoun and you give the keys to Kevin Ollie, and it's worked out just perfect.
Ryan Boatwright only 2 points tonight. Didn't start on senior night. The junior Boatwright, who will take over the navigation of the team next year. And there he got hit by Seegears. 2 free throws coming for Boatwright. Eddie Jordan has something, though, that Kevin Ollie doesn't. It's his own bobblehead doll wearing the old 1976 jersey. That was a couple weeks ago at the rack. They gave those away. The hair's changed a little.
I'm sure you could find one of Kevin around here, or someone will create one after we showed that. There's no question about it. But what needs to be done basketball-wise here as we move forward is Connecticut, if they want to extend this lead, it's got to start with their defense. They've got to create a little havoc, a little more intensity off the ball. The rotations have to be better, and more presence of mind. And Rutgers will turn it over if you get feisty with them. But tonight, so far, Rutgers has been very cautious and careful and understanding with the ball, disciplined with the basketball in their shot selection.
Lead of 7 for Connecticut. Boatwright has 4. We'll see where Rutgers turns now. The Scarlet Knights have missed their last 7 from the field. Near turnover, and indeed they do give it away. Boatwright, Nolan, look out below.
That's exactly what Connecticut needs. They need to get a little feisty, get this crowd involved, and grind it out on defense. And now Rutgers needs to get into a better rhythm and run everything through Jack on the high post and have Mac run the team from the outside.
Airmail job by Jack, looking for Mac. Here's Philip Nolan's first bucket.
This is exactly what Rutgers feared coming into this building. This is what Connecticut's at its best, when they turn you over and then run to the rim with their athletes.
UConn has its largest lead of the game at 9. Remember, Rutgers came back from 15 down Saturday at home against USF to win. Roma, nifty, Nolan on the payoff again.
space in that floor, and usually it's Napier or Boatwright that takes you off the bounce and creates. And this time it's Chroma, and the easy delivery when he breaks the defense down, and Rutgers just standing on the weak side. Miles Mack just standing as Nolan flushes it home.
Well, Rutgers, last time they met, had only 12 points in the paint, fewest in the last 2 years. They've been better there tonight, but UConn continues when the Huskies get it inside to score pretty prolifically.
Well, they've got good finishers at the rim, and the thing is, when you have a Napier and a Boatwright that can create so well off the bounce, they're going to draw people and defenders at them, and you have to work on that offensively to slide into that open area. And that time, Nolan slid right to the rim, and Mack was standing on the weak side and just watched him dunk it.
Last 5.5 minutes, Rutgers gone scoreless. Mack can't snap it. E2 battling hard for the rebound. Chroma's got it. And Chroma traveled. He wanted the three, it looked like.
Well, Chroma's got to understand who he is. I mean, that was a nice play he made on the possession before, taking his man off the bounce, but he's a wing spot-up shooter, a guy who can take his man off 1 or 2 dribbles, but he's got to get it within the context of their offense.
An offensive explosion against Cincinnati and UCF a couple of weeks ago. Oh, J.J. Moore, awkward shot. They get to retool it with Judge. Taken right away by Nolan. Boatwright into Jack, left it short. Jack had to watch himself. He's got 3 fouls. Moore to the rim, and a blocking foul sends J.J. Moore to the free throw line. He's been really a floater in this game, and we've seen him this year attack the rim pretty well for Eddie Jordan.
Well, Moore can do that on occasion. He likes to shoot the 3, as we know, but he does have that ability out in transition to get to the rack. And Rutgers right now struggling, though, in the half court. They've got the 2 bigs in the game, and Jack and Judge. They really only have 1 guard on the floor, and UConn is taking advantage. They're smelling some blood with their defense. They're extending their defense with a little bit more pressure because Rutgers has virtually only 1 ball handler on the floor.
Part of the reason for the 8-0 run for Connecticut.
Rutgers does have another guard on the bench, Devon Campbell, but he has been relegated to not in the rotation over the last few games. So they're going with a bigger lineup, less ball handlers, more physical on defense. But right now, Connecticut's giving them some problems with their pressure.
Rutgers just picked up its first point in nearly 6.5 minutes. Napier explodes. Out of bounds to the Scarlet Knights. We talked about Napier scoring. How about Doug McDermott, number 9 in Division I history, taking aim at Oscar Robertson. And certainly the three-point line has been a little bit more in favor of McDermott in his career. But what fine years he's had up until his senior season, trying to help Creighton deep into the NCAA tournament, into the Sweet 16 for the first time in decades.
Struggling as of late, though, Creighton, losing the last couple in a row. And it's interesting when Doug McDermott passed Larry Bird, he pointed out what you just said, and on the graphic, he said that's sick that they scored that many points. These are his words, without the three-point.
Right. Can only play in the area he played in. 1-1 for Judge, and he's getting a second one. Strong second half, 11 for Judge.
Well, Judge has played very solid, a physical presence in the lane tonight for Rutgers.
Napier steers the offense with 7 threes in the game tonight. Boatwright hops into a shot for 2.
Just amazing body control and that quick lift in the lane. Almost impossible to defend with space.
Kadeem Jack gets his first points of the second half, and if Rutgers is going to come back, He's going to have to score, don't you think?
Well, he does, and that time Gaffey backed up on him. He's got to pressure Jack, make him put the ball on the floor, make him a passer.
Boatwright feeling it.
Feeling it, but Kevin Ollie wasn't feeling that possession, and he didn't like that shot clock.
Napier wrapped up Mack in the first foul against Shabazz Napier. Connecticut trying to pick up win number 24 and go to 12-5 in the league. Anish, thank you. SMU led that 15-5. Louisville trying to help itself with a tiebreaker over Cincinnati to earn that 1 seed in the American standings, and with a win over SMU, that would get you there. How we got to the timeout, Shabazz Napier said on senior night he was hoping that he wasn't going to cry because he was worried that he couldn't play while he was crying. Maybe he wanted just a warm embrace.
No. Here's what happened there. I mean, that's like a giveaway when you're down 7 and trying to foul and put the other team on the line. I mean, you're down 9 here with 3.5 minutes to go, and you put an 89% free throw shooter on the line. Now it's a giveaway on purpose because Shabazz Napier was upset at Ryan Boatwright for taking a bad shot down the other end of the floor. Now, okay, it's okay to be upset, but that's not the way to handle it. And they had it out in the timeout. And this is where Kevin Ollie makes his money, trying to manage those two high-intensity, high-ego guards. And over the course of the season, they've done a great job of managing that. But right now, there's a little issue between Boatwright and Napier. Napier not happy with the shot selection, but Napier giving Rutgers 2 points on that last possession.
How do you handle that? What do you say?
Kevin Ollie, this isn't a new occurrence. He's been handling this for 2 years, and he's done a great job of managing it. And you can see right now he's frustrated with it. He doesn't understand why this would happen in the course of a game with the game on the line. And it's a 7-point game. You don't put a 90% free throw shooter on the line on purpose.
Napier to Boatwright. Croma, the pull-up. Rebound for Jack. The door creaks open for Rutgers. It's 3-19 all-time at Connecticut. J.J. Moore on the attack.
Takes the wind out of your sails when you've got your starting backcourt bickering, and you kind of take the game in your own hands and play selfishly. And right now, Boatwright and Napier are playing a selfish game, and Kevin Ollie realizes that. And he's going to, on that last timeout, Napier got into Boatwright, and they argued during the timeout. Now it's going to be Kevin Ollie's stage and saying, what's going on here, guys? We're about to give this game away.
Napier just turned away from Boatwright in the huddle and walked away as Boatwright approached. So we'll see how this plays out. 66-61 Connecticut. Championship week is underway. Saturday at 7 on ESPN2. One of the first bids to be given out in the Ohio Valley, Belmont, Murray State. As per normal, the top 2 seeds, Eastern Kentucky, Morehead State, into the quarters. The first round going on right now out of Municipal Auditorium in Nashville. Again, Belmont, Murray State have really owned that league in the past, and they've lost a lot, but still the top 2 seeds. And do you like when these conferences protect their top 2 seeds all the way to the semis?
Well, as a coach that got clipped in the first day as a 1 seed by the 8 many moons ago, we tried to forget it, but since you brought it up, yes, I do like that. Listen, you play the long season. A lot of these teams are 16, 18. The MAC conference with Iona, Manhattan, and Quinnipiac and Canisius have played 20 games, so you've proven yourself. You've earned that, I believe, to get that extra little benefit moving forward.
Who'd you get knocked off by as the one?
You know,
I'm sorry, twisted the knife.
I don't remember. I just remember it happened. We're not talking about the past tonight. We're talking about the next. We're talking about the next 248. Really, that's I think what these people that are watching the broadcast want to hear about. They don't want to hear about old days. They want to hear about what's going on with Connecticut. They look a little edgy right now, on edge, and let's see if they run good offense and play together here in this last 245, because Rutgers is hanging around and playing with a little confidence.
6-0 run for the Scarlet Knights. Napier working off the bounce, shot clock ticking down to 10. Boatwright on Seegears, takes it himself. Second chance, Nolan fouled. It's on Judge, it's his third.
That's where Wally Judge and Kadeem Jack, as veteran players, Judge's 5th-year senior, they have to build a wall in here. Nolan pushes off, but now here, instead of reaching in, build the wall, make Nolan shoot over the top of you. He's going to have trouble with that because Judge is a physical player. Put your chest on his chest instead of going up and hacking him and put him on the line.
You see Nolan's 81% from the free throw line, but he's only shot 33 times all year from there. He's 26 out of 33. One for two for Nolan. The lead is 6. Under 2.5 to go. Rutgers has won only 14 times in 50 tries against UConn.
Good switch on that down screen by Giffey.
Mack trying to thread it around him. Here comes Napier. Roma nearly traveled, and UConn will slow it down with 2 minutes to go.
A good move by Kevin Ollie. He's got Ryan Boatwright out of the game because he saw he and Napier were not on the same page. So he went with the A-game guy, Napier.
Senior night seems like the right choice.
The best player.
On the step back, Napier left it short, wanted a foul, and Rutgers ball with a $1:39 to go.
That wasn't a good shot, but he clearly got hit on the arm, and he was looking for the bailout. But Napier right now, he's lost his focus, and as a senior leader and all the good things we've said about him, he deserves some criticism right now. He's not playing at the top of his game. He does not look energized and engaged in this last few minutes.
Kadeem Jack against Giffey. Stolen. How do you extend the game? Do you foul as the ball comes out of Napier's hands?
He's got enough time to play it out. Just play solid defense. But make sure that guy with the ball is not making the play to beat you.
Rutgers does have a foul to give. Daniels taken away by Jack. To the rim, and he got the roll.
That was a bad play, good play by Kadeem Jack. Thought he should have given it up to a guard. Got all the way to the rim, looked like he walked. And now J.J. Moore commits a careless foul at the top.
That's the foul to give, so one more before the 1-and-1. You almost have to try to deny Napier on this inbound, don't you? He's an 89% foul shooter.
Well, again, you make someone else beat you.
30-second timeout, Huskies.
Rutgers without Boatwright in the game, a little trap could be in the works. Keep the ball out of Napier's hand, maybe trap Napier, or really overplay, deny him hard with a double team and put the ball in someone else's hand, then send a trap so you can get a quick turnover.
Telling there that Boatwright wasn't on the floor. He's a 78% foul shooter. We'll see if he comes in after the timeout. Just one left each way. A fairly clean game, so Rutgers has a few chances and a 1-and-1 miss from Connecticut, which is the 7th best foul shooting team in the country. Could help them down the stretch in the postseason.
Well, the body language of Connecticut right now is towing the line of just kind of trying to get through the end of this game instead of trying to win this game. And if they're not careful, Rutgers could come steal this.
Chroma's got it, and he is fouled. Just a 67% shooter from the line. Chroma will go for the 1-and-1.
It was a quick giveaway. They're trying to extend the game. If I was Rutgers, though, I would have tried to get one quick trap without Boatwright in the game. Connecticut has one guard on the floor. They don't have a lot of ball handlers. And put the ball in Nolan or DeAndre Daniels' hands, but even better, get Chroma to miss.
4-point game. Mack to Moore. Out of bounds off of Giffey. Close shave for Rutgers.
Rutgers has tons of time. They don't need to force a three by Mack or Moore. Run their offense, their quick hitting offense. Maybe go through Jack at the middle of the floor, see if something good can happen through him. If they can draw the defense, maybe then a three from Mack or Moore on the wing.
You think go inside out here?
Well, you know, you take the three if it's there for sure. But Mack and Moore have been known to take some deep, ill-advised threes. They'll stretch out 3 or 4 paces beyond the line, which is not a good percentage. And there's still tons of time here where it looks like Connecticut is spinning a little bit with their confidence. And if they can get a quick 2 and then set up a press, especially again without Boatwright in the game, and keep the ball, deny Napier, then maybe a turnover's in play, and Rutgers has a ton of time to operate if they get a good shot.
Rutgers is the 7th seed in the American tournament. That's locked in. UConn trying to climb from the 4 position. Right now would play Memphis in that quarterfinal round. Louisville, Cincinnati, SMU, the top 3 seeds. At this moment, SMU and Louisville are playing right now. Should be an entertaining tournament, but UConn doesn't want to limp in to Memphis. And with Rutgers at close range right now, we'll see where the Scarlet Knights turn. They've got Temple in the first round at this point. Those 3 teams, 8, 9, and 10, are all 3 and 14. Louisville's up 1 on SMU at the moment. About 8 minutes to go in that game. But UConn playing for seeding here. A loss to Rutgers would certainly hurt.
Well, Connecticut's going with Nolan and Daniels. If you're Rutgers, you got to take a look at that power game inside with Jack. See if Jack can take Daniels to the rim, isolate him quick. So looks like they're going for a 3.
J.J. Moore on the drive and drop off. Judge had it blocked, and a tie-up is going to UConn under 30 seconds left. How about DeAndre Daniels?
Well, a very good move by Moore to the rim, and Daniels from behind makes a big-time play, maybe a game saver for Connecticut.
Ryan Boatwright back on the floor for UConn with Napier. Inbound to Daniels, who gets hit immediately. He's a pretty good foul shooter for a big, 6'9" and 78%, as we'll head to the Big 12 in 28 and change.
And again, I'm surprised Rutgers doesn't at least try to get a couple traps. And with 28.5 seconds to go, I mean, they can see if Connecticut will turn it over without Boatwright in the game. Except now he's back in the game by a good move by Kevin Howard. Snuck him back in there. But still, you try to trap if you can. At least try to get one trap. But Connecticut has been a little shaky on the line in the last few minutes.
Daniels got the front end.
Well, if Connecticut can get through this game, this is where Kevin Ollie goes back to his couch tomorrow in his film room and gets his guards in his office and on the court together to get them back on the same page. I don't think it's a major issue, but something that has to be discussed.
1 for 2 for Daniels. 5-point game, 20 seconds to go. Jack soaring in, and an offensive foul on Jack, his 4th personal. And UConn, just like it did on Saturday, 10 points in a row to finish from the free throw line. And UConn will have to do it from the foul line again today on senior night. And Napier, though there's been the conflict with Boatwright, had himself a magnificent game. And Moore has to hug Napier, who will go to the free throw line.
Foul number 44, J.J. Moore. 2nd personal, 10th.
Quick giveaway again by Rutgers, where Rutgers with the possession arrow with Napier just holding the ball out. You have to understand that as a basketball team, when you have the possession arrow, you can go tie that man up, and you don't have to automatically foul. You can get the ball back, as Providence did last night in their win over Marquette. Late in the game, they tied up Jake Thomas and got possession back in the game and won the game with 8 seconds to go. But Rutgers just with the giveaway.
Shabazz Napier 3 for 3 from the line, 26 points on his senior night against Rutgers.
Again, down the stretch, Connecticut really tightened up on defense, locked down with the block and then the charge.
Mack tried to kick it out. Judge. Croma the rebound. Napier walks it out, and he's got a victory on senior night. 69-63, UConn over Rutgers for win number 24 of Kevin Ollie's second season. That's all from Connecticut for our wonderful crew. Coming up, Wednesday Night Hoops continues. Big 12 action, West Virginia at number 23, Oklahoma. Back to talk with Coach Ollie and Shabazz Napier, but first we check in with the studio.
All right, we will get you back out to Gamble Pavilion. Nice senior night. Nice cap to Shabazz Napier's UConn career with a strong performance in his final home game. As Jason said, we'll get you back out to stores. We'll hear from Napier and Kevin Ollie in just a bit. Don't forget, coming up in a little more than 10 minutes here on ESPNU, Jawan Staten and West Virginia taking on Oklahoma. The Mountaineers have slipped of late. Staten certainly merits discussion as a Big 12 Player of the Year candidate. He's right up there with the front runners, Wiggins and Kane and Melvin Edgem.
No question, he's having an outstanding year in East. And I'll tell you, West Virginia, I know this year is not over, but next year that team could be a top 10 team in the country with everybody they have coming back and that kid leading them. Yeah,
West Virginia, Oklahoma coming up in about 10 minutes here on ESPNU. Earlier tonight, Louisville was taking on SMU. Key game in the American. You've got Duke and Wake Forest over on ESPN2. Wake was on a 12-0 run, up on Duke late, but right now we get you back out to Gamble Pavilion. Tim Welsh standing by. Tim?
Kevin, wrapped up the season, home win on senior night. Coming off an emotional win against Cincinnati, what was the key down the stretch in this tight game?
Yeah, you just can't have a hangover. We just didn't play solid enough in that first half, and then the second half they got their momentum. But at the end of the day, we got plays. We made plays offensively and defensively, and that's what counts.
You know, your guards at the end of the game, they looked like they were a little out of sync. What was the issue with Boatwright and Napier?
It wasn't no issue. You know, we're just talking it out. We playing basketball. You have disagreements, but you move on. And that's what we did tonight, and we got the win. So we all brothers in this thing, and, you know, family have problems. But only way we get through it is together. And we was together at the end, and that's what matters the most.
Well, a year ago you won, and it was your last game of the year. Now you can look forward to the postseason. But what are you looking forward to in this rematch with Louisville on the weekend?
We're just looking for a grind game, and we want to play together. We want to play 40 minutes strong. We want to play 40 minutes hard. We want to play Connecticut way. And them are the teams that we're going to be playing in the tournament. You know, going in the American tournament and then going into the NCAA tournament. So we got to make sure we come out and play the right way, and that's what matters the most.
Kevin, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Shabazz senior night, 7 threes. You got it going early from the perimeter. Were you looking for your three-point shot early?
No. I'm just trying to win the game, and it was open. They gave me a lot of open shots, and I was just willing to take it. Unfortunately, I made them shots.
You guys seemed a little out of rhythm tonight. Down the stretch, it was your defense. What was the key for your team defensively at the end of the game?
You know, we're gonna make mistakes when we play defense. As long as you communicate, you're gonna make up some of the mistakes, and that's exactly what we did. We just communicated real well down the stretch, and able to get some stops. And guys were willing to take charges and get blocks and on a different man. So it was definitely just talking.
You've clearly had a fantastic season, but at the end of the game tonight, you looked a little frustrated. What was your frustration?
No, I mean, I just don't, sometimes when we get ahead, we don't, step on their throats. And that's one thing we got to have. We got to have that killer instinct. And until then, we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Okay, how far can this team go, and what do you need to do to beat Louisville on Saturday?
I don't know how far. We don't know our true potential. We just got to continue to get better every day. So in Louisville, it's going to be a hard task. It's always difficult to play in the Yum Center. So we just got to go out there and play good defense. If our offense is not there, defense is where we got to hang our hats on, and hopefully that's what happens.
Thanks, Shabazz.
Thank you.